They asked, do the hosts have any personal experience with cults? And if so, do they know of any good ways to help a friend who is part of one?
Ouch.
I know that we've neither of us, I mean, some people extend cult to include churches like the one I was raised in, but I think that's probably not what you're talking about or not what you're referencing. And I know that Don was raised pretty secular, so...
Pretty much.
And I don't think you've ever had friends that were sucked into a cult.
No.
I haven't either.
And it's scary because, you know, one of the things these groups do is they inoculate folks against outside influences, and they insulate and say, you know, if you're hearing this from outside, it's the devil or whatever, and it's a very, very naughty, KNOTTY problem to try to unravel that. And I would leave it to the professionals. There are some folks that do this for a living that you know, help to deprogram people or who have studied cults and these sorts of things, and I would defer to that expertise.
The other thing, I agree with what Don just said there, and I will say that I have a couple friends that I've met through, you know, the atheist community who have been involved in cults. So that's it's not as rare among atheists because you have people that have deconverted out of all kinds of things. And so I have some friends who talk about cult experiences. One of them, I think her grandmother, you know, founded a cult or something.
Oh boy!
So she was actually like, you know, the family member of the owner.
That's doubly
like,
hard,
I don't know.
right?
It's horrendous.
You're having to leave your family as well as.
But it makes me think that you might check online to see if there's like forums and things, like not just books or experts in this field, but there may be people who have actually deconverted out of cults who are willing to talk about it. And it's interesting because sometimes when people come out of a cult, they go into like a more standard religion. So it's not always the case that you're going to find people that have come out of a cult and now they're secular. A lot of times they come out and now they're like super, super religious and they're all down on that cult for being, you know, wrong about God instead of just wrong. And so, but you still may get some tips and hints and advice on how to help somebody get out of it, especially if you just go in there and say, hey, you know, I just want to help somebody on this is happening to them. I just hope that you don't get a flood of responses from people saying, oh, yeah, they need to find the true path, you know, like the real Jesus or whatever. But I know those people are out there, secular folks who are actively, you know, willing to talk about cults and things and their experiences with it and how they got out and how hard it was. And some of them still have contact with family that's really difficult. So somebody had asked a question.
That's some interesting questions.
It was, and I feel bad. I mean, I would hope that you don't have a friend in a cult, but it sounds like you probably do. Somebody had asked something about, let me see if I can find it.
Maybe one of the best things you could do is try to keep that friendship open as a way of helping that person have some sense of normalcy and contact with the real world. Just even being a friend to that person might be helpful to them. It
would be difficult, but it's always good to keep that line open. Like, don't ever shut that door. Like, if they shut the door, there's not much you can do. And if you think that, I would even say that if you think that hammering it or trying to even mildly, because sometimes even if you're trying to be subtle about it, it can still be very obvious to the person who's on the receiving end of it. So if it turns out that, you know, any sort of negative reaction to this new reality for this person is perceived as causing strain, it's still a good idea to maybe chill on that and just leave that door open and do other things with them, disregard it, because you never know when they might encounter someone or something else that puts a crack in it, and then you're there. Right, to help kind of support that crack and say, yeah, this is. I think what they're telling you, or I think what you're thinking is actually valid. That these questions are good.
Honest conversation with you, that's a good thing.
Right. So maybe it may be really difficult to back off of that, but if you see it creating a strain or closing the door, then back off of it and just stay there, be their friend, deal with the fact that, wow, I don't like what I'm seeing, but I'm going to just, you know, not confront it. Because there may come an opportunity down the road that's a better opportunity to deal with it in a way that is more productive than just simply confronting it head on and then they close the door and that's it.